I think the history of baseball in Washington is complicated. And I think what's good is, and people are starting to figure it out, is that, hey, the last time Washington had a great team was not 1924 or 1925 or 1932, right? It was in the 1940s, and it was the Homestead Grays. It was in no way, a professional baseball team until a man named Cumberland Posey really sort of organized the team and really sort of professionalized it and started paying guys and started paying the best steel workers to play, and then started recruiting players from all over the country. I mean, in fact, people say, right, people who really know Negro League baseball, that the 1930 Homestead Grays, best team ever assembled. But the move of home games from Pittsburgh and from Forbes Field to Washington and Griffith Stadium was completely financial, right? It was financial because you had a huge black population in Washington, and the Grays would come in, particularly against the Monarchs, and draw, 25, 27, 32, or even if they play the Baltimore Elite Giants, who are just up the road and a great team, they still might draw more. They still might draw 12 or 15,000 fans. There were better players on the Homestead Grays than on the Washington Senators. In 1942, at Griffith Stadium in Washington, D.C., to me, this was the heyday of the Homestead Grays in Washington. As I said before, you had World War II, you had restrictions on gasoline, you had rationing, people couldn't go anywhere. And the part we really haven't discussed is, if you could transport yourself back to 1942, Washington, D.C., you have a black social world and a black middle class that is dominant, not only in D.C. but nationally. 8 of 9 Negro National League titles from 1937 to 1945. That's a big deal because that shows that against East Coast competition, they're dominating. The Negro Leagues weren't the same in '48. The attention of the black press has changed. Grays were now inside the paper. The Grays were not quite an afterthought, but they weren't what they were.